Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Okay, so let's get into this story time that I promised you guys. So if you were tuned in on a video I did maybe like 2 days ago, I had made the comment about how all skin folk ain't kinfolk. I think I'm saying that right? And how I recently had like an experience, a spiritual experience that opened my eyes up more to that fact, and how that's just not true in the physical, but that's also true spiritually as well, right? So I've always had like a really close connection to my ancestors, okay? But it seemed like the more spiritual warfare I went through, the closer I drew to my ancestors, and the closer they drew to me. So much so that I am on a first name basis with one of my ancestors. You know, she came to me, she told me her name, and we work very closely. All right. So I had been like manifesting some things, and it just seemed like, you know, it wasn't coming in as fast as I would have wanted it to. So I had even said to myself, I'm like, when I do manifestation work for others, it just come in so fast, you know, but it seemed like something is dragging on my end. You know, I had did everything that I was supposed to do spiritually, cut cords, got rid of people, any type of ceremonial work, rituals I needed. It's just something still was blocking, right? So, like 2 weeks ago, I'm sleeping, and one of my ancestors came and got me energetically, and I was taken to what looked like a meeting, okay? They didn't see me there, so I take it like my ancestor cloaked me. Okay, so she cloaked me, and she took me to like, it looked like a town hall meeting. So there was this masculine ancestor, and he was dressed like a pastor. I felt like he was an ancestor of mine, okay? He was dressed like a pastor, and he was standing at like this podium. And there was another feminine ancestor that was present, and I heard her say, it's almost like she was calling him out on something, right? And she said I don't know, did she say that's not what happened? It was something, I can't remember verbatim what she was. All I know is she was calling him out on something, right? And he got so angry. He was like yelling and talking over her. And it's like he was using his energy to like overpower her. And he told her, he was like, I've had nothing but the best intentions for her. I have nothing but the best intentions for her. Like he was trying to make my other ancestors believe that he has nothing but the best intentions for me. He said, I've never wanted nothing but the best for her, and I've had nothing but the best intentions for her. And I was like, what's going on? Like, what did you guys just bring me into, you know? And when he yelled over her, and that other ancestor, the feminine energy, she looked at me. I think she knew I was there. I knew she knew I was there because she looked dead at me, and she just kind of like fell back like, I digress. And I was taken back to myself, and I woke up, and I immediately grabbed my dowsing rods, and I'm calling on my ancestor, okay? And I was like, what's going on? Did I just witness what I just think I witnessed? Like, y'all tell me what's going on. Why were y'all arguing? Like, it was a full-on argument, altercation, okay? And I was like, why was he so angry? What's going on? My ancestors say, grab your tarot cards and pull so we can tell you what's going on. I was like, okay. I started pulling cards. Y'all, my ancestor, he was extremely misogynistic, and he had been backdooring. He had been moving in the spirit to sabotage me and to block my blessings, okay? He was, when my ancestors would set it up for something to come in, or like right before I would win, he would block it. He would block it. He was intentionally causing delays. And he was doing this simply because he was a misogynistic, okay? He did not feel like I was supposed to have, he didn't feel like I was supposed to come into any type of wealth or anything like that, or have any type of power, or he actually didn't even like, he don't even like the fact that I'm Mystic Beauty. Like, he don't like the platform that I built for myself. And on top of that, he's a pastor. He was a pastor when he was alive. So he's still kind of like stuck in like outdated ways of thinking. You know what I mean? So he also don't like the fact that I read tarot. He don't like the fact that I'm spiritual. He don't like the fact that I'm a female and divine chose me out of everybody else, including the men in my bloodline, to lead the way and represent my bloodline as the chosen one. He don't like that. He felt like it was supposed to be a man in my family, okay? Possibly one of his sons. Hell, I don't know. So it was just a list of things as to why he was choosing to sabotage me. All right. So I was like, oh my God, this was making so much sense as to why he was trying to prove so hard that he had nothing but the best intentions for me. He never wanted nothing but the best for me. He was very angry, very aggressive, trying to dominate over the women that is on my ancestral court. Okay. He is someone who has because I'm going to tell you what happened. And this is probably why he did not want me to be, the leader. Okay. He didn't want me to have any type of ranking, anything, any type of spiritual say so, because he knew what I would do, or anybody like me would do, when his dirty deeds was uncovered. Okay. So I guess he had enough pull where he can make certain decisions for me, what comes in my life, what leaves out, and things like that. So I'm not gonna lie, I was hurt. I'm like, oh my God, and the women on my ancestral court, they ended up finding out. And you know what was so funny? A day before I had this dream, I was pulling cards for myself, and Elder and Spy came out, okay? And I was like, Elder and Spy, and one of my guys was like, Elder was an ancestor energy and a spy. And I didn't quite know exactly what it meant. I knew it was something dealing with an ancestor and spying, and I just kind of assumed like, well, maybe my ancestors are watching me, but they're always watching me. No, they were trying to let me know that they had been spying on one of my ancestors, okay? They had energetically been spying on him because they was trying to figure out what was blocking my blessings. It was some things that was supposed to have already come in, but they had not came in yet. So the matriarch in my bloodline, 911, as I'm saying, is my matriarch, did their own investigation. They sent one of my other ancestors to spy on him, to see what's going on, to pretty much to investigate. And that's what they uncovered. He had been doing it for a while, okay? They literally watched this man who was supposed to protect me and help me sabotage me, all right? So I was like, okay. When I got done being sad about that, I petitioned for spiritual court. I immediately, since I am you know, the chosen one in my bloodline, I have say so. Okay. I immediately requested for him to be removed off of my spiritual court. I immediately request for any type of say so he have to be removed from him. Okay, sir, you don't get to make no more decisions on my behalf. And I also went into ceremony and petitioned for this situation to be investigated by the divine council. Okay. So when I worked up the petition for this, I was very specific. I was like, hey, you know, no, I didn't do a petition. I spoke. Because you don't necessarily always have to do a petition, but I kind of like prayed over the ceremony, and I was very clear about what I needed with the council, with the divine council, and what went on. And I was just like, hey, I found out that one of my masculine ancestors was sabotaging me and doing things to slow me down and block my blessings. And I need you guys, I'm requesting that the council do a thorough investigation to see what happened, why he did this, and if there has been any other ancestors that have been helping him or had their own vendetta against me for whatever reason, and was you know, blocking and delaying me and things like that. Okay, so after I did this and I got word that the council agreed, I had another ancestor assigned to me because one of my main ancestors, they had to be in spiritual court. Okay, so they had to speak. The other ancestor, it was like 2 feminine ancestors that was helping. I think it was like maybe a few more, but it was 2 specifically that kind of oversaw everything and had kind of did the investigation or whatever. So they had to go to spiritual court on my behalf, and they had to speak to the council. And, you know, I'm assuming the council questioned them. Y'all know how court works, right? So Divine found him guilty. He was found guilty. But what broke my heart, and he was also taken into spiritual custody, spiritual jail. Spiritual jail is a real thing. So he was energetically locked up. He's currently energetically locked up. But what hurt my heart the most, there was 2 more ancestors who also was sabotaging me and trying to block my blessings and slow me down. They were not on my spiritual court, and they also were not of the light. You know, this particular ancestor, he was someone who was supposed to be of the light, meaning when I was giving my offerings and I would say, oh, this is for my ancestors of the pure white light who has my best interest at heart, he was receiving those offerings because he was pretending to have my best interest at heart, until they did this little investigation and found out they actually, you don't. You know what I mean? So, but the other 2 ancestors were women, and they were not of the light. They actually was very hateful, jealous. They were attacking me and sabotaging me out of jealousy and out of spite. Okay. And it's so funny because, you know, that's something that I noticed with some of my own family members, the spirit of jealousy, and the, you know, that energy is still present. So it's a bloodline issue. Okay. And also, I mean, I guess I didn't know, or maybe I wasn't paying attention, but I guess misogyny is an issue too that I didn't know. Okay, but now I know. So I told my ancestors, no, I was told that those 2 feminine energies were also taken into spiritual custody. So they are currently in spiritual jail. And I told the council, I said, you know what? Them being put in spiritual jail is one thing, because I do feel like they need to pay for sabotaging me and blocking me and doing things to slow me down, giving me bad advice, things like that. You know, when you go to your ancestors for guidance. So I requested that they go through a spiritual purge, that they be cleansed, that they be forced to heal, because my goal is to end generational curses off my bloodline, to purge and purify my bloodline. So, yeah, you need to still serve out your spiritual time however long divine see fit, but also I'm requesting forceful healing for them. They need to be forced to heal, okay? Which ultimately would break more generational curses off of my bloodline. So they all three of them got their ass in trouble spiritually. And I also requested like reparations for any other female ancestor, not female ancestors, for female family members that this particular masculine ancestor had been blocking, because from what I was told, he had done this to other family members of mine who are women, because he has an issue with women in my family having anything and being in any type of position of power and authority. He has an issue with that. So I requested reparations for them. Anything that was held up and blocked off to be given to them times 10, you know, any delays to be removed, you know, just things that they were supposed to receive that they didn't get, because this masculine energy felt like, well, since I have the power to block that, I'm gonna block that, because I don't feel like a woman should have nothing. And you know, when I further looked into him, he was born during a time where women had to get permission to even, like, I couldn't even have a bank account without a man on my account type shit, or, you know, so I see why he feel that way. But this is a different time. But he was still trying to force me and other women in my family, whether they know, they probably don't know this, but if they see this, they're going to know this. There was some things that they were supposed to also receive, some blessings and opportunities that they were supposed to get, and he sabotaged it. But okay, so after everything was said and done, my ancestors brought me a vision of this masculine energy sitting in a tub. He was angry. He was angry sitting in this tub, but I don't give a damn, sir. You got to cleanse. Like, so they were letting me know that they were starting the cleansing process for him. And they're also going to start the cleansing process for these other two feminine ancestors too, to purify them. And see, these two women were not of the light. Okay, they probably wasn't very good people when they was alive. They probably wasn't a good mom, a good friend, or nothing. You know what I mean? So forceful purging and cleansing for them as well. Okay, we're gonna cleanse this bloodline. We're gonna clean this up one way or another, right? So with that being said, you gotta be very, 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 very careful, because, you know, sometimes your ancestors can be an enemy, a sneaky enemy, and could feel some type of way about the things you're trying to do, and they don't want you to break their curse, because, you know, they didn't get to do anything like that when they was alive, or, you know, maybe they don't want it to be you. For whatever reason, they don't want it to be you. So you just got to be very careful. You should always pray for discernment. Okay, you need to learn how to petition the spiritual courts, all right? Because that'll really help you. That'll really help you. That's their job, to make sure that everything is fair and to call judgment. All right. Yep. So that's my story, you guys. So let me know if you had any similar stories where, you know, you found out that maybe one of your ancestors was sabotaging you, or, you know. Oh, also, hold on, before I get off of here. So after this was said and done, court was over, they locked these three ancestors up spiritually. I was told by my ancestors, the ones that were still left, and that I needed to do a cord cutting to sever the energy between myself and the misogynistic masculine matriarch in my family. Okay, so I did a cord cutting, and I severed the energetic cords connecting the toxic misogynistic men in my family and me. so that none of them will ever have any more access to me. They will not reap any blessings off of me. They won't get none of my nothing, and nothing that I'm doing, they won't get any of that. Like, and they will no longer be able to like affect me in a negative way at all. So like doors that was once closed will be open, and opportunities will open up for me. Okay. Also, I did request that there be no more masculine energies on my ancestral court, that the only beings that can sit on my court, the only energies that can sit on my ancestral court are women, and they have to be of the light, and they have to be ranked as well, and they have to definitely have my best interests at heart through and through, thoroughly. No, I just, and that was something, you know, that they agreed. So I won't be having to like go through that anymore. Okay, I feel safer actually with a all female spiritual court. Okay. So yeah, let me know if this resonated with any of you guys. I'll probably, because I know y'all gonna have questions in the comment section. Y'all gonna want to know how do you petition for spiritual court, and how you do a cord cutting to sever the energetic cords between you and the toxic masculine energy. That one is easy. I can easily explain that one. 2121 may be specific. But the other one, I would have to like maybe write out instructions or whatever. But the cord cutting one is simple. You just do it the regular way. And the other candle should be engraved with toxic, misogynistic ancestors. Simple. And you just do your cord cutting that way. Okay. So that would definitely free up some blessings for somebody who, you know, if you, whether you know it or not, that probably was blocking some of your blessings too. Okay. So y'all, yeah, that's it. I will see y'all in the next video.